Save my child, and I will reward you with myself. Those were the words that stopped me cold, spoken by an Apache widow with eyes like storm clouds and a baby crying against her chest. I was a retired cowboy who thought his fighting days were long behind him, and there I was being offered a bargain that felt wrong and desperate all at once. I still ask myself if I did the right thing that night, or if I crossed a line I can never step back over. Tell me honestly, what would you have done if someone put that choice in front of you? When a child's life was on the line, I need to rewind a bit, because nothing about that moment makes sense without the road that led me there. I'd hung up my spurs years earlier after my wife passed, settled into a quiet life fixing fences and keeping to myself near the edge of the territory. I knew the land, knew the people, and I knew better than most that trouble doesn't announce itself politely. Still, when I heard gunfire echo through the canyon one evening, my first instinct was to stay put. I was tired, older, and done with bloodshed. But then I heard a scream, sharp and terrified, and my body moved before my mind could argue. That's when I found her. She was kneeling in the dust beside a broken wagon, arrows scattered, her husband lying still with his eyes open to the sky. She told me in a shaking voice that raiders had taken her infant son, dragged him toward the cliffs where no one dared follow. She said she was Apache, said her husband had traded peacefully, but none of that mattered in that moment. What mattered was the way she looked at me, like I was the last door left unlocked. When she made that offer, it wasn't seductive. It was survival. I told her I didn't want her body. That bargaining like that wasn't right. But she grabbed my sleeve and said she had nothing else to give. Her people were scattered, the settlers wouldn't help, and she knew the raiders would kill the baby by morning. I felt anger rise in me, mixed with shame that the thought even lingered in my head. I finally said I'd help because no child deserves that fate, not because of any reward. But the truth is, the weight of her words stayed with me as I saddled up and followed the tracks into the dark. The trail was brutal. My knees screamed, my lungs burned, and every shadow felt like a rifle barrel pointed at my back. I tracked the raiders to a narrow pass where they'd made camp, laughing, careless, convinced no one would chase them. I waited, remembering old tricks, remembering who I used to be. When the moment came, it was fast and ugly. Shots cracked, horses screamed, and the night filled with chaos. I don't glorify it. I did what I had to do, and when it was over, I found the baby wrapped in a filthy blanket, alive but silent, like he already knew the world was dangerous. Before I tell you what happened next, I want you to stop and think. That was the situation I was in. A widow, a dead husband, a saved child, and a promise hanging in the air. If you were me, standing there with blood on your hands and a baby in your arms, what choice would you have made? Comment below what you would have done in my shoes, because this is where everything changed. When I returned at dawn, she ran to me and collapsed, sobbing when she saw her son breathing. She tried to keep her promise right there, reaching for me like she owed me something. I stopped her. I told her she didn't owe me herself, that no man should claim a woman's body as payment. She looked confused, then angry, then relieved all at once. Instead, I helped bury her husband and stayed long enough to make sure she could reach her people safely. The aftermath wasn't clean or simple. Word spread about what I'd done, and some folks called me a hero, while others said I was a fool for risking my life for someone outside my own. The widow never forgot me. She visited months later, stronger, her child laughing, and she thanked me again. Not with her body, but with respect. That meant more to me than anything else ever could. Now I sit here, older still, wondering about that night. I learned that desperation can push people to offer things they shouldn't have to, and that real honor is choosing compassion even when temptation is dangled in front of you. If you were on my side, like this video, subscribe for more stories like this, and share your final thoughts on this whole mess in the comments section. I'll see you all in the next story.